30 times around tonight, and the winner takes home $175,000. Kyle Larson on his way to Eldora Speedway from New Hampshire. His estimated time of arrival was set to be 5:10 p.m., so cutting things very close with a little earlier start here this evening. We showed you the video of the perhaps impending weather a little bit later on, so we're going to get things underway here in just a few moments.
Boy gonna make it? It's gonna be close.
With $175,000 on the line, will Kyle Larson make it back in time for the 39th running of the Kings Royal?
The lineup's being tabulated now. Opening ceremonies will come up in just a few moments.
This race will happen with or without Kyle Larson.
The 24 best drivers in the country going for the 11th annual Kings Royal.
I think in sprint car racing that ever so often put all the good guys together, you got to put up a big purse.
I mean, I think it symbolizes our sport. You know, if you just showed them that picture, they'd know exactly where that race is, when it is.
This is going to be a dandy. Try to remain in your seats. Here they come. Let's hear it for them.
Here comes the winner, Steve Kinzer from Green, Indiana, a $50,000 prize.
By the power bestowed on us, we crown thee King Donnie the 35th.
Good heavens, not in my wildest dreams. I never thought I'd get this big.
So if you want to fight, tell me about it. And we'll set up a ring. And I'll pay the winner 50%. I'll give the loser 25%. And by God, I'm a voter. I get the other 25. That's why I get so damn mad when you fight, so don't fight.
Yes, other tracks have tried to copy the successful format developed by Earl Ballas. They've even paid more money, but they can't get more cars. They can get better cars.
After a rained-out Friday night, it's now a jam-packed final day for the Kings Royal Week at Eldora, with not one, but two feature races for the drivers to attack. First up is the night before rerun, which Kyle Larson has withdrawn from due to NASCAR qualifying in New Hampshire. For now, it's time for Tyler Courtney to secure a good starting position in his night before heat race.
Selzy with a big run down the backstretch. He'll go side by side with Courtney into turn number 3. Selzy works a little bit higher. Courtney off the inside. He'll hang on to second.
Jared Pittman, your first heat race winner. Second goes to Tyler Courtney. Giovanni Selzy third. Logan Wagner fourth, and Sheldon Hodden in the fifth and final transfer spot.
Yeah, it's just the straightaway's slick, and and it's slick into one. But motor-wise, I think that's about. Oh my God, that rider must rip in that 39 car. I'm a lot happier we got to race today than last night because I think the track was going to be more narrow than it was today. You know, the worst I can start now is 8th, so yeah, I'm happy with it. We still got a good race car, and I think when it does start to go, it's going to go pretty quick. He went to North New Hampshire.
He said he has a competition meeting at like 2.
I'm sure they'll let him out of it.
I never would have thought that I was going to be in the Cup Series. Like, I thought this was like a process, and I didn't really know if I was ready to go Cup racing yet, but I mean, I had this confidence in me that I could do it. If your team owner sees the potential, he'll move you up and just go figure it out.
Kyle Larson with a blinding restart.
The California Kid, Kyle Larson. He, Chip Ganassi, and Chevrolet are going to victory lane in Fontana.
When you run, as well as we have in last year and then start this year off good, winning is expected.
2017 was like way better than I thought we would ever run at Ganassi. We were the best, if not the second best team all year long. We won 4 races that year. I finished second like 8 or 9 times, something crazy like that.
There is no second place here. Kyle Larson will win his 3rd time in a row here in Michigan.
We were a small team with way less resources than any of the teams we were competing against, and we were outrunning all of them. So like the years like that, made me super proud.
Larson wins at the Monster Mile.
The biggest win of your career, maybe, Kyle?
$1 million earlier this year was pretty nice.
I think until you win, you never really know like how long you're gonna be able to last in the Cup Series. So yeah, I think it was definitely a relief knowing that like, okay, I can do it. I can put a full race together. Now I'm going to be here for a while.
Breaking news now in the world of NASCAR. Kyle Larson is at the top of sports headlines today after an iRacing event last night.
Kyle Larson is suspended indefinitely after using a racial slur on a Twitch live stream.
Kyle Larson was suspended by Chip Ganassi Racing.
His language has shocked the NASCAR community.
Kyle Larson has been fired.
Kyle Larson was fired.
Kyle Larson's out of Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. Last night I made a mistake and said the word that should never, ever be said. There's no excuse for that. I wasn't raised that way. It's just an awful thing to say, and I feel very sorry for my family, my friends, my partners, the NASCAR community, and especially the African American community. I understand the damage is probably unrepairable, and I own up to that. But I just wanted to let you all know how sorry I am, and I hope everybody is staying safe during these crazy times. Thank you.
Yeah, 2020 was a year. We had COVID going on and these online races, and I had made a mistake, said a racial slur, and everything happened overnight.
Sponsors started dropping out, which left Ganassi with no choice but to fire Larson.
It's a very unfortunate time for not only Larson, the race team, the whole sport. It was a major setback for us, and it was really frustrating.
The comment Larson made was both offensive and unacceptable, says Chip Ganassi Racing.
What he said hurt a lot of people.
Everything happened with me, and obviously embarrassed with the mistake that I had made and lost everything in NASCAR that I had worked so hard for. You don't know where your life's gonna go from then on. Kind of went into the mode of repairing that and learning and trying to grow from it. I got to link together with a diversity coach, Doug Harris.
Why should anyone believe that there's been a significant and real change in your heart?
I feel like I've definitely grown more in these last 6 months than I have in the 28 years I've been alive.
I saw him work really hard within the community to understand better and to be better and to represent even more people in this sport.
Just really giving myself a different perspective on life and what other people go through was really important, because I think with racing, like, it's easy to remove yourself from everything going on in the outside world. So just kind of having empathy for others and trying to put myself in their shoes more and just treating people with more respect was the big thing.
If racing with NASCAR were to not be in your future, would that be too steep a price to pay for you?
I don't think it would be too steep of a price to pay. What I said was extremely hurtful, and I would fully understand if I was never allowed to race another NASCAR race again.
27 cars set to go 25 times around the Eldora Speedway. It's the night before the Kings Royal, taking place on the afternoon of the Kings Royal. As we complete the program stopped by Mother Nature last night, a little bit of a change in the track surface, a little bit of scratching, a little bit of moisture applied, and I think these first few laps are going to be an absolute scramble.
After much anticipation, it's finally time for the night before. 27 drivers will battle it out, each of them trying to secure crucial momentum heading into the Kings Royal later in the day.
Green and go at Eldora, afternoon racing. They make their way into turn one. Rico Abreu sliding up the banking. Brad Sweet looking for a run on him down the back straightaway. Abreu leads as they reach corner number 3.
David Gravel hangs on to third. Now a battle for fourth.
Tyler Courtney, no matter what he's in, if he's racing at the Eldora Speedway, he is a contender.
The first part of the race was just trying to see, because it was during the day, so it was super dusty.
Red flag conditions on the Speedway. It is the number 9 of Casey Kane upside down in turn number 4. And you can see the fuel spilling from the tank at the back of that car. Crew members will be allowed on the Speedway. We will go open red here.
The problem is at the end of the straightaway, and you just can't, I don't see the car in front of me.
So, normally like on an open red scenario like that, we'll just kind of discuss briefly kind of where I can help him out, where he's lacking, and then kind of a judgment call at that point whether to make a change or how much of a change to make.
We go back to green with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series.
I think I was able to clear Hunter here for 5th, and at this point I was almost just gonna be happy just running 5th, take my top 5 and get a couple hour break and start over again. Unfortunately, I did not just stay content with 5th and kept trying to run harder.
Side-by-side battle for that 5th spot. Tyler Courtney up on the high side. Spencer Mason. Here comes Dietrich Courtney. Nearly run. Oh, he comes together with Dietrich.
Tyler Courtney slowing on the backstretch, turning into the infield in the 7BC. We stay under green flag conditions.
With this one mistake, Tyler Courtney is officially out of the night before feature. It's now up to his crew to get the car fixed in time for him to qualify and run in the Kings Royal so he can defend his crown.
Yeah, he got in the fence off 4. Just bent the front end back, and bent the Jacob's ladder in the back.
I don't think it really did that hard. It just sucked like I couldn't get off of it. Knocked the fence down, knocked the ladder out of it, I think cut the tire, and yeah, frustrating. When you got nothing to lose, you just kind of go for it, and I just went for it a little too hard. Made my guys work a little harder than they wanted to. You always want to win every race, but unfortunately that just can't happen. Even as hard as you try, you're just not going to win every race. I wasn't happy, that's for sure. You just shake it off and refocus and keep your team focused on what the goal is, and that's to win those big races that are there that weekend.
Go for it, bud. Not bad.
This might be my 10th time playing this year, maybe. I don't know. We race so much. I mean, if I have a couple days during the week, we might try to go golf every now and then, but
golf sometimes on the road, but
yeah, it's tough.
There you go. Bogey. $20 a hole starting now.
Yeah, right now?
Yeah.
Okay. See how bad this goes. Here you go.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't either. 186 from right here. Okay. Was that your ball?
I don't know, I just hit it.
You know how you always win at golf? Keep score.
Oh, stay out of the water. $20.
Nice shot, Chris. Oh, that was bad. He's golfing pretty well right now. He must do well under pressure. Yep. 2 of them. Choking. $40. How about that? Let's see if we can find yours, huh? Man, these guys are slow in front of us.
Both these drivers using both their cars in the best way that they can. Chris Windham shuts the door right there on Sunshine. Courtney slides right underneath Windham and right by him. Makes it a double shot of NOS up at the front of the field.
Courtney's got a rocket ship. He's the faster driver right now.
I've been around racing my entire life. I have a twin brother, and we were 2 weeks old at our first race at Putnamville, Lincoln Park Speedway, that my grandparents owned from 1980 to 96. My dad raced, my uncle raced, my grandpa raced. I probably really fell in love with it when I was 15, 16, working for Brian Clausen on his sprint car midget team.
Tyler Courtney came to me as a 13, 14-year-old kid and wanted to be a professional race car driver. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, we're putting together this midget team. You want to come work for the summer? I need somebody like you. I can't afford to pay you. I'll take care of your expenses.
They didn't let me do a whole lot. I stuck to the jobs that they gave me, and I made sure I did a really good job at them. We got to the Kokomo Clash, which is in October. They let me drive the car that we won the Belleville Midget Nationals with, and I made it all of a half a lap and flipped it over and destroyed it. And I didn't think I'd ever get to drive, you know, a midget or sprint car again.
We're rolling into the shop about 5:30, 6 in the morning, and I tell Brian, I'm like, we'll never see Tyler Courtney again. And as we pulled in, there's Tyler Courtney sitting on the step out in front of the shop.
I felt like if I could tear the car up, I can, you know, damn sure, you know, help fix it.
And it was really in that moment that I knew all I needed to know about Tyler Courtney. He had that love for it like Brian had. After losing Brian, when we decided we were going to start CMR, I remember going home and telling Di, my wife, you know, this dumb idea that we were probably going to try to continue if she was okay with it. And the only thing she asked was that we consider Sunshine as a driver.
So this is Clausen Marshall Racing. This is kind of our office area / trophy room. This is our first feature win as a team company to Kings Royal, to our championships back there. We've been pretty fortunate to, you know, have a lot of success since we started in 2016, and we're just trying to fill this room up as much as possible, and hopefully make the bosses make a bigger showroom. Obviously, I don't wear it all the time because it stays here, but every time you get a chance, you got to put it on, right? And it looks goofy, but it's it means a lot, and it's a cool thing to have, and they're actually a lot more expensive than you would think they are. I knew the role I was stepping into was going to be tough. I'm never going to be Brian, and I don't ever want to be Brian. I want to be Tyler Courtney, but I do want to embrace the things that he stood for, and you know how he went about doing things.
He was going through it as well, the grief and everything, because he had just lost one of his best friends, if not somebody he considered a brother. And he wears it to this day. Sorry. The responsibility that comes with it.
You know, I'm never going to fill that hole that they have in their hearts, right? But I try my hardest to help heal it.
I think they've all just done a really good job of carrying on Brian's legacy. I think Tyler is a very similar race car driver to Brian. You know, there's not many people that can jump into any type of car and be competitive and win big races in all different cars and series against the best drivers, and Tyler and Brian could do that.
He's always compared to Brian. When he has a huge success, it's, well, what would Brian think? But yet, here he is, being Sunshine.
His family's been behind me, you know, since we just started this team, and you know, I try to make them as happy as I can too, and you know, just represent Brian and embrace what he stood for, and also win races.
Audrey, I gotta go hot lap.
You'll have to go give the dumb boy the horn.
Huh?
The dumb boy's horn for the midget.
Yeah, I'm getting in.
I was trying to do everything I could to get back into NASCAR, and I don't hold anything against anybody for not wanting me.
Thanks, girl.
In the beginning of that year, it was like, this is embarrassing, like I'm a full-time dirt guy again. But that was just for a very short amount of time. I accepted it and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life.
Yeah, once 2020 hit, we jumped on the road. Well, it started out a little bit of a disaster. We get about 3 hours down the road headed to Knoxville, and our brand new Ford Raptor, it was in flames behind the motorhome. So that was trip one, but after that, it was smooth sailing. We got in a really good groove.
We still have a huge line of folks waiting to get in and waiting to get their tickets.
You know, coming from the downfall that we were in, I didn't know what to expect. I thought, all right, hopefully the fans still like us.
It was fun. You just got to bond, staying at KOA campgrounds or sleeping in Walmart parking lots.
Watching Kyle cook for the first time was, you know, great. And we did drive the motorhome together.
He likes driving it a lot. I get kicked out of the driver's seat quite a bit, which is great. That's fine with me. He can do his thing.
He's also a terrible driver on the road, by the way. Like the worst road driver.
Kyle is.
Kyle is the worst.
Can you go a little more into detail on that?
He's gonna be mad that I said this, but this is a new car and we had it for 2 weeks and he hit a curb like 3 times already, scratched the wheel. I'm like, come on, do you not know how to turn into a parking lot?
Early on, we had some good runs, but I wasn't like dominating. Like I had to like get lucky to win an all-star race. But then we went to Devil's Bowl.
First lap time for Larson is quick time for Kyle Larson. 13:826 for Young Money.
We were super fast and won.
The hat trick completed at Devil's Bowl, 3 straight for Kyle Larson.
I was like, wow, that was kind of surprising how good we were.
Make some noise for Young Money, Kyle Larson!
And then that kind of started the domination.
Boy, are we in for a treat here.
Yeah. Hold on, folks. It's gonna get good. Larson drops the hammer. We're back underway.
Larson with a big run down the backstretch. Here comes Kyle Larson. Larson roaring to life. Larson has been on an absolute tear. Hasn't finished worse than 6th in his last 31 starts on dirt, and now he'll go after Wagner for second, and he's got him in turn 3.
Here we are watching this major league race car driver racing for $3 grand one night, $8 grand another night, at little grassroots tracks and fairgrounds, and wowing 5,000 people in a bleacher.
Sweet meat pie, it doesn't get any better than this.
How about it? Make some noise for Young Money, Kyle Larson!
Blake started calling me Young Money on all the races, and it's really kind of stuck ever since.
We call him Young Money. This is Kyle Larson. And Young Money is going to grab the bull by the horns and sweep the Bob Weicker Memorial.
I like the way it's spelled, so it's not spelled normal. You drop the O out of Young, which my mom doesn't like because I'm half Japanese, she's full Japanese, and Young, I guess, is Chinese. So she doesn't think that it's it's right.
I go, who is this kid? I mean, he was just flying, and I've never heard of him before. And then all of a sudden, he's winning all these races. No, he's my man now, really.
It was an amazing response from the fans because our lines were long, and they have never stopped being long.
Caitlin, she was loving it, selling merchandise.
It is busy from open to close. I mean, sometimes I can't even get open, and people are trying to get under my little door that opens on the merch trailer and ask me questions and buy stuff. I think I got the t-shirt printing companies pretty backed up, and kind of everybody else in the industry maybe a little irritated with us. But we're back on track now.
When he came back to dirt track racing in that year, and went on this cross-country, coast-to-coast American tour of motorsports domination. We have never seen a single season like that in the history of auto racing.
It's showtime!
Yeah, Larson like a chess master out there with the number 57 car, while some of these other guys playing checkers apparently.
Without question, the hottest driver right now in the country.
He's won at just about everything you could imagine.
He makes everything look so easy. It's unbelievable.
Schuhart slides up the banking. Larson turns underneath him and steals the win out of turn 4.
Kyle Larson is by far the best driving talent that I've seen in my lifetime.
But Larson wins 7 straight.
Probably ever will see.
Larson roping in. You've got a new leader in turn 4.
When I go try to race the sprint car stuff, I'm like having to work really hard at that compared to how easy it is for him.
Here comes Young Money. Cue up the Jaws music.
He's definitely supernaturally talented.
And looking for his 10th All-Star win of the season and his 25th total win.
The end of August 2020, and news breaks Kyle Larson's finally going to race a dirt late model.
Yeah, I've been so familiar with open wheel type cars where the late model, I feel like, a rookie. I have no clue what I'm doing. They're really confusing cars, and the cars are so tight and don't want to steer very good that it makes it really hard to get around the racetrack fast. That weekend I had like a lot of expectations from other people.
There are people taking bets this weekend, like, what is Kyle Larson going to do? Is he going to make the race? Is he going to get a top 5?
It was like kind of like a late model sprint car, like who's better than who.
Kyle Larson will lead lap 1, Brandon Shepard second, Kyle Bronson third, Hudson O'Neal fourth. Great.
I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I just felt a lot of pressure just from the late model fan base talking a little bit, saying that I wasn't going to do good.
I had zero expectations to go there and do good.
Oh, Port Royal.
It's getting good.
It's getting good. Here comes Brandon Shepard. Kyle Larson, can he lead one more lap here tonight?
Shepard's there. He's only within 3 car lengths behind Larson.
Kyle Larson wins his first ever race in a dirt late model here tonight at Port Royal.
Unbelievable.
I just don't think anyone thought he was capable of doing that.
I didn't think that I would go there and do that. That to me was right up there with like a similar accomplishment to the 4 Crown. And I was able to really cement myself as like a great all-around dirt racer. Kind of weird how it all worked out, because like I've always wished that I could go off and race sprint cars for a year and come back and race in the Cup Series. There was a lot of bad stuff that happened in my life that year.
Kyle Larson is suspended indefinitely.
There's no excuse for that. I wasn't raised that way. But I got to spend more time with my family than I'd ever spent before. Driving my motorhome up and down the road to these races with my wife and 2 kids, and you just got to bond. I got to learn a lot about myself. I felt like I always tried to respect people, but I think that level of respect changes and you respect people even more. You try and learn more about people. So yeah, on a lot of different aspects, I feel like I really grew up quickly that year.
Kyle Larson finished 2020 with 63 podium finishes and 42 wins. This historic performance will forever be known as one of the greatest seasons of dirt track racing ever. But Larson was only getting started. The night before is complete, and all that's left of this 4-race event is the big show itself, the 39th Kings Royal with a grand prize of $175,000 to win. But Kyle Larson is missing in action. Still in New Hampshire for NASCAR qualifying, the question on everyone's mind is if he'll make it back in time to race.
It is one of sprint car racing's biggest nights, and it takes place now starting a little bit early. We showed you the video of the perhaps impending weather a little bit later on, so we're going to get things underway here.
We got done qualifying, I got a text that they had moved everything up an hour because there was weather coming for later that night. Then I'm like freaking out that like, man, I don't think I'm gonna make it back in time. Yeah, we do a team debrief with all the drivers at Hendrick Motorsports, and as soon as that was done, we hauled butt to the airport there, got in the plane, and headed straight for Eldora.
Your boy gonna make it? It's gonna be close.
Kyle Larson on his way to Eldora Speedway from New Hampshire, cutting things very close with a little earlier start here this evening.
Obviously, you know, they're not gonna hold up their show for one guy. They were still rolling as scheduled. The window got extremely tight. We landed there, and I knew that we were gonna have to rush, so I'm like, well, I'm driving. Hopefully you guys weren't trying to follow me on the way to the track. Yeah, I was going too fast. Rushing the track is definitely not uncommon for me. I like the drama a little bit.
Yeah, he's here now.
It all worked out. Perfect timing. Got to hot lap, got to get there in time for qualifying, and get to race in the Kings Royal.
How did you qualify?
When it comes to qualifying, we just struggle really bad.
Kyle Larson's opening lap is 14th, quick at a 4:13.432.
I mean, I run around there wide open like everybody else. I think I focus on being smoother than anybody just because I'm trying to get every little bit out of it, and we are always 3/10 off. We're just slow early in the night. It's nerve-wracking, you know, when you're that bad at qualifying and you're sitting on top of the trailer watching these cars go out and you're like looking at yourself fall further down the running order. The difference from 24th quick to 25th quick is the difference in starting pole heat race or 5th, and starting 5th at Eldora is terrible. You're on the bottom, you can't take off very good, you've got no air on your wing when you get to 1, and you're probably running 6th or 7th by the time you get off turn 2, and now you're buried in the B main, and you're gonna be lucky to make the feature. I'm watching race monitor thinking, gosh, I hope I can qualify top 24, otherwise this is a wasted trip, and I've just wasted my time, my car owner's money, Paul's money, everybody's money, if I can't, somehow end up top 24.
Kyle Larson up to 9th quick on lap number 2 at a 13.323.133.323.
Thankfully we did, and then you get re-energized because you're like, all right, we dodged that bullet of being terrible in qualifying again, and now we can go race, which I feel like we're decent at racing.
After 3.5 days of racing at Eldora, the crews have tuned the cars within an inch of their life, the drivers have studied every twist and turn of the track, and the fans are hungry to witness the crowning of a new king. This is the Kings Royal.
The energy in this place, boy, you could feel it at the historical big one, and you can certainly feel it here this afternoon.
We now turn our attention to 6 heat races. They go 10 laps in distance. The top 3 finishers move directly into the Kings Royal feature. 4th, 5th, and 6th go to the Microlight Last Chance Showdown. Behind that, those drivers to the C main. Set to go green on heat race number 4. Winner starts 3rd in the Kings Royal feature. Kyle Larson and Logan Schuchart pace the field. Brock Zierfoss and Spencer Baston in row 2. Sam Haferty, James McFadden, Logan Wagner, TJ Stutz, and Greg Wilson to the green flag. Kyle Larson with the start leads the field into 1 and 2. Logan Schuart to the inside, down the back straightaway. They go side by side. Schuart and Larson racing for the lead out of turn number 4. They're still side by side. Schuart by a nose as they cross the start-finish line. Logan Schuart slides up the racetrack. He'll lead the field out of turn number 2, but down the back straightaway. Logan Schuart will win the 4th heat race. Second will go to Kyle Larson. Carson Macedo brings the field back to green flag conditions. Tyler Courtney down to the bottom, slides up the banking. Macedo comes right back under him, down the back straightaway. Macedo reclaims the lead into turn 3.
Carson Macedo slides up the racetrack. Tyler Courtney diamonds off the corner. What's it going to be into turn number 1? He gets him a shot to the shorts into turn 1, and they nearly side by side.
Sunshine on the move. Macedo down on the block, some contact there. Carson Macedo wins the 6th heat race. Tyler Courtney finishes second. Well, after that final heat race, when Chase Rodman talked to Carson Macedo, he said, I don't think the 7BC is very happy with me right now, but I did what I had to do racing for $175,000.
When he got me back there, I got back, I don't remember. Either way, we ended up on the backstretch right like this, and I tried to go this way, and I was stuck on him, and then it like went left.
He went left.
He went left, and it took me left, and I went like this.
We ran over his left rear.
Yeah. The left front of the wing's all too. Well, 12th. Got a fighting chance.
Coming into Kings Royal this year, definitely a lot more confidence than last year, right? Last year, just kind of showed up not knowing what to expect. This year it was a little bit different, right? You show up, I mean, people expect you to win now.
The question on everybody's mind here today is who will be sitting in this chair, wearing the crown, wearing the robe, hoisting the scepter.
Eldora Speedway, you wanted the best. You got him for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt. The world of outlaws. NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car. Truck to the infield, and the 39th running of the Kings Royal is underway at Eldora Speedway.
I felt like I had a good car. I got kind of stuck racing, I think, Sunshine early. I remember Tyler was really good. He drove by me, no problem.
It makes us all step up, at least myself. I know for sure when he shows up, if you can beat him right now, then you're beating him at his best.
10 laps in, my car kind of took off. And I was able to start picking people off.
Kyle Larson running ninth.
For whatever reason, once I got into sprint cars, I feel like I've been like that aggressive attack kind of style driver.
Here comes Kyle Larson out of nowhere. A handful of laps ago, he was 10th.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kyle's one of the best talents in the entire world.
You know, competing against someone like Kyle Larson, you really got to be on your A game.
Kyle Larson into the top 5.
Once it got like shiny, slick, and could run the fence and run the middle in 3 and 4 and do some different things, I really was able to go forward.
Kyle Larson slides up in front of Brian Brown. Move Kyle Larson into the 4th spot.
Brett March starting to slip away. Boy, things getting interesting.
There for a moment, you know, I thought we were gonna have a really good shot to win.
That might be the winning move for Brent Marks.
I didn't realize Brent Marks was like checked out.
History made at Eldora in the 39th Kings Royal. Brent Marks, what a week! He wins $175,000. Donnie Schultz second, Carson Macedo third, Logan Schuart fourth, and Kyle Larson in fifth.
I was making ground on Carson for a few laps and it like stalled out and I should have got up. The 19 was probably checked out before the caution, but we were coming.
On a restart, I got pushed up in the fence and so I just kind of rode around the last 10 laps. It just wasn't our night, and we'll be back next year and try and get another crown.
Good GoPros on you won, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about the GoPros. I mean, we can keep trying, but it's got to be at races that we got to work into it. I just want to be a guy that people remember once I'm done racing. I think it's up to me to decide how people remember me. You show up, you work hard to make it happen, and eventually if you work hard enough, it does happen. But it's up to you once you get there to keep working hard to stay there. I started out cleaning panels and tires with Brian and them on their team. Worked up to buying my own sprint car.
To beat a guy like Brian Clausen and Chris Wyndham.
Taking every opportunity you get along the way, and eventually you get yourself in a good enough spot to where you're a full-time hired driver. You have to keep that drive inside of you to stay in this spot. I never want to leave the spot that I'm in because I've worked so hard to get here, and I will continue to work my ass off to make sure I stay in this spot.
What a race, what a crowd, what an event.
We thank you all so very much for being a part of the action, not only tonight, but all week long. Good night, everyone, from Eldora.
With the newly crowned King of Eldora, Kyle Larson and Tyler Courtney must move on and stay hungry for the next race. For Larson, that just happens to be in the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis. But there's someone he'll meet there that might give him a run for his money.
They built a dirt track on the infield of the Speedway.
I was obviously trying to get back into NASCAR. And
I mean, we may have come around a little bit.
I have a camera crew following me today.
He's the biggest character in racing.
That's what I had to do to beat him, and that's what I did to beat him.
Here comes Stevens!
I know there's gonna be a wreck. Sure enough, there it is.
Uh-oh, watch out, oh no, get in!
I am not gonna watch this race.
He is brutally honest.
You pissed me off, and you know what? How you like me now? I stand on the gas as hard as I can if you piss me off.